In April 1500, tall ships appeared. Pedro Álvares Cabral commanded this fleet from Portugal. His ships landed on a new shore, later known as Brazil. This land was not empty. Many indigenous peoples already called it home. The first meetings were cautious, filled with wonder. Indigenous peoples like the Tupi met the newcomers. They saw strange clothes and heard a strange language. The Portuguese were interested in a special red wood called pau-brasil. Initially, trade began between them. The indigenous offered wood and food in return for metal tools and trinkets. This peaceful trade did not last long. Portugal soon wanted more than just wood, they wanted to claim the land. The King of Portugal divided the coast into huge territories called captaincies. He gave these lands to wealthy nobles to settle and develop. This marked the true start of colonization, bringing profound changes for the original inhabitants. The arrival of Europeans brought disaster. New diseases like smallpox and measles spread among indigenous communities, killing thousands. The Portuguese also wanted forced labor, leading to violent clashes. Cultures collided, and understanding was scarce. The dream of a new world for some became a nightmare for many others. A new crop arrived in Brazil: sugarcane. The climate in the northeast was perfect, and soon vast sugar plantations emerged. These plantations, called engenhos de açúcar, became the heart of the colonial economy. Sugarcane promised great wealth to Portugal but demanded much work. The plantations needed many workers. At first, colonists tried to enslave indigenous people, but this proved difficult. Many indigenous people resisted, died from disease, or fled inland. The Portuguese colonists needed another solution and turned towards Africa. The transatlantic slave trade started to grow. Millions of Africans were forcibly brought to Brazil, enduring the horrific Middle Passage. Ships were overcrowded and conditions were vile. Many died during the journey. Those who survived faced a life of hard labor on sugar plantations. Enslaved people were treated as property, their humanity denied daily. Sugar became known as white gold, bringing immense profits to plantation owners and the Portuguese crown. A new society formed around sugar, with a small, wealthy elite controlling everything. At the bottom were the enslaved Africans, whose labor fueled the entire system. Brazil became the world's leading sugar producer, but this success came at an unimaginable human cost. Towards the end of the 17th century, news spread. Gold had been discovered in Brazil. It was found deep in the interior, in a region later named Minas Gerais. The news sparked a massive gold rush, shifting the colony's focus inland. Thousands flocked to Minas Gerais, hoping to strike it rich. New towns like Vila Rica, now Ouro Preto, sprang up rapidly. Life in the mining camps was harsh, with dangerous conditions daily. Many miners were enslaved Africans, toiling in deep pits and cold streams. The Portuguese crown imposed tight controls over gold production. A tax called the quinto meant 1/5 of all gold found belonged to the king. Smelting houses called casas de fundição were built to enforce this. All gold had to be melted down and stamped, making smuggling difficult. The gold from Brazil was immense, flowing back to Portugal in great quantities. It helped finance the Portuguese kingdom and funded lavish buildings and wars. In Brazil, however, it caused problems like inflation and dependency on outside supplies. The Golden Age was brilliant but also fleeting, bringing more hardship for many. As the years passed, discontent grew in Brazil. Many colonists felt unfairly treated by Portugal with high taxes and economic restrictions. Brazilians had little say in their own government, with decisions made far away in Lisbon. These frustrations led to whispers of freedom and new ideas. One famous attempt was the Inconfidencia Mineira in 1789. Inspired by Enlightenment ideals and the American Revolution, they dreamed of an independent Brazilian republic. The plot was discovered too soon, and key figure Tiradentes was executed, becoming a national hero. Other revolts, like the Conjuração Baiana, showed growing unrest and the fight for Brazil's future. A major turning point came in 1808 when Napoleon's armies invaded Portugal. The Portuguese royal family fled to Brazil, transforming Rio de Janeiro into the capital of the Portuguese Empire. This brought many changes, with ports open to friendly nations and greater autonomy for Brazil. In 1821, King João VI returned to Portugal, leaving his son, Dom Pedro, as regent. The Portuguese Cortes wanted to reduce Brazil's status, ordering Dom Pedro to return to Lisbon. This angered many Brazilians, who valued their new freedoms. On January 9, 1822, Dom Pedro declared he would stay, setting Brazil on the path to separation. The final break came on September 7, 1822, when Dom Pedro declared Brazil an independent nation with the famous Grito do Ipiranga. Brazil became the Empire of Brazil, with Dom Pedro as its first emperor. However, political independence was just one step. The legacy of colonization, slavery, and inequality remained. Brazil's diverse identity, forged in encounter, conflict, and resilience, continues to evolve. Acknowledging this complex past is vital. The pursuit of true justice, equality, and recognition for all its people is an ongoing journey.